Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to FTI Takeover.
I'm your co-host, Karen Ryan.
And I'm Alex Smith, the other co-host. And welcome to our, Karen, is this what, episode?
4.
4.
Episode 4.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't put any labels on it, but we'll see how this one goes, right?
Yeah, let's just go for it. Let's just test it out.
Wait, so we got to tell everybody what FTI Takeover is all about.
All right, FDA Takeover is fucking doing it. Stop waiting and just take control of your life and just fucking do it. Life is short and you got to make it happen. Just fucking do it.
Exactly. We are so excited to share everything that we have surveyed from our friends and family at this point. The whole idea is that we want to ask important questions that we think we should be asking ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Deep questions.
Very deep questions. Being honest with ourselves, but we're able to ask other people as they engage with us. And when you ask a person a question and give them just a little bit of time, they're going to open up an answer to you, because people like to talk about themselves and like to open up on a platform that's super comfortable where they feel safe.
Yes. And the most recent question that we have surveyed our friends and family on
it's a good
is
one.
a very deep question. We saw a lot of people freeze up when we asked them this question. Maybe we should wait a second for the question, but Karen, please share in the last couple of days just a little bit about what's happened to you, just so everyone can get to know us a little bit more, and I'll share a little bit more about myself, and we'll go there.
All right. I almost want to put my shades on and hide behind the fact that the things that have been happening to me recently, I can't make up. So it will be in my book. Recently, I applied for a job. Should I go there?
Whatever you want.
Let's do it. And it was interesting to me because, part of my initial reaction was, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to try it. But you know what? The last few days have been really interesting. I've had to almost isolate myself and truthfully listen to God in this quiet time, that I was given an opportunity and I ran after it. Last Friday, we all know, recapping to one of our last episodes, my rental car was stolen. My phone was stolen.
I'm sorry. We can laugh about it now.
We have to laugh about it now.
No. I mean, because life is insane. All of these crazy things are always happening, but we do have to get to a point where we laugh it off and move on.
We have to move on, and nothing can stop you. You have to become unstoppable. I mean, Alex, I know you'll agree with me on this, that we are our own prisoners if we encapsulate ourselves between these bars and don't think outside of the box. When you think outside the box, anything can happen. So no matter what comes your way, you can make it happen. Yes, I had my rental car stolen, my phone stolen, but thankfully I had my ID. I was still able to travel, walking through the airport with literally my computer while everyone else had their cell phone. Interesting. And then I just recently applied for a job and I declined it. Out of all due respect, it just wasn't a good fit for me. And what I want to bring to the table here tonight is that if you enter into a partnership with somebody on any level, if something doesn't feel right within your gut, you don't have to feel obligated to follow through with it if it's not working out as a good fit for yourself. I mean, what would you say about that?
I couldn't agree more. I am so in a space now where I do not do things if it doesn't add to the things that are part of the journey that I know that I need to live on. So I know that that's loaded, and you have to understand a little bit about what your path is to be able to say no to other things. But knowing your worth is one of the most important things that you could ever bring to the table, especially from a work perspective. So either way, I am proud of you for saying no and knowing that that is not in alignment with whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes.
And that's knowing yourself. And we talked about that in our episode, one of the first ones.
Yes, one of the first ones. And knowing your worth, it doesn't necessarily come down to money. It comes down to your work ethic, who you are as a person, what fulfills you, and what fills your passion. So given the opportunity, I seriously believe in always opportunity is a door that's knocking. Open it and extend yourself a little bit further, kind of feel it out. And if it's a good fit, it's a good fit. If it's not, never feel bad or feel like you're hurting somebody's feelings by walking away, because at the end of the day, it's about what is fulfilling your happiness.
I love it. But I want you to share the story about what happened to you today when you went to the dry cleaner because I think it is such an important story to share.
Okay. So today I did go to the dry cleaner, hence the outfit that I'm wearing, which is a little bit
Very
low.
nicely pressed.
Very nicely pressed. It's by San Brazil. My outfit is amazing. I was just showing a little bit too much cleavage. So thank you, Tony.
Our media people to let
Our
us know
media
that we're
people.
hanging out everywhere.
Just like, yeah, taking care. But I went to the dry cleaner today, and as I walked in to pick up my dry cleaning, I was speaking to the young lady behind the counter, and I said, hey, follow us on FDA Takeover. You know, she knows I'm new to the area, but she mentioned to me about a mental health issue that was going on with someone that she knew. So as I was there, it was just placed upon my heart to say, listen, we are all a little bit on the spectrum. As we talked about earlier, we all have like mental health issues, but just don't be afraid to speak about it. However, before I got to the dry cleaner, I opened my door and lo and behold, on the ground was a box. I looked at the box. It was an Amazon box. I opened it up. There was, I can't make this up, the Law of Attraction CDs. It was a pack of 5, but only the
What are
first, second,
those?
and third Law of Attraction CDs. CDs are so outdated. I'm like, how do I even put this
How
in?
am I going to listen to this?
Right. I even got in my car. I'm like, is there a CD player here? No, I just have. Well, now I have my phone back. Thank goodness I got CarPlay. But I'm looking at it saying that the law of attraction. So I posted on my personal Instagram. You're not going to believe this. I can't make it up. I just got in my car. I found the law of attraction. The first three CDs. I'm going to go ahead and look at those and listen to them on YouTube and find out what they're about. My whole point being, I could have parked anywhere in that parking lot, but I pulled up, opened it up, opened the box, and there were these CDs. The other part, guys, is I was trying to FaceTime Alex to show her what I had found. She says,
I can't talk right now. I'm whitening my teeth. I have the Snow whitener, and I've been doing that, and I love it, by the way. So big shout out to Snow. But you can't talk when you have the mouthpiece in. She's FaceTiming me, and then she sends me a picture of Invisalign in this box that she found on the side of the road that says "Brighten Your Smile," and I thought, what is this? And I continue to have these really interesting moments hanging out with Karen, but she's also a really good example of bringing awareness to the present moment. And I don't know, I'm a little bit still skeptical of all of these moments that are happening right now that feel like an outer body experience or euphoric in some ways. And I look at her and I said, you know, is this a coincidence? And she looks at me all the time and says, no, it's not, Alex.
no.
So I'm learning that.
The story gets better as I am just a few years older than you, just a couple. The signs are there. So the box had
Reverse, right?
Yes. The box had 3 CDs of The Law of Attraction, which we spoke about last night. Then it had an empty box of Invisalign. So someone had stolen this box, obviously. They're now brightening their teeth. Alex is brightening her teeth. I'm trying to get a hold of her. I'm like, the signs are all there. Better yet, we have a little story of how we earned our angel wings last night.
Oh my gosh, that was such a ridiculous story. But we were out getting pizza and wine last night because we felt like that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was very on
And
moment.
it was delicious. Sicilian oven in Lighthouse Point, Florida. We love you. Anyways, great vibes, awesome. But there was multiple times that this same server came up to us and looked at us and he goes, wings? And we both looked at him and said, no, we didn't order wings. And he's like, oh, okay. And then, I don't know, 20 minutes later, he comes back and he goes, wings? With the same thing. And I said, honey, no, we didn't order wings. And he goes, I don't know why I keep getting sent here. And Karen looks at me and she goes, Alex, I know why we just got sent here. We just got our wings.
We just got our
Like
wings.
angel wings. And I said, okay, all right. I know I've been living with a lot of intention. I wasn't necessarily making that connection, but these things keep happening.
And they're powerful, what keeps happening to us. He said, a set of wings. And we're like, no, thank you. And trust me, they look good. They were wings with these like potato wedges, but we're just focused on our pizza. Comes back again. They keep sending me here. And I looked at Alex and I said, who keeps sending him here? The kitchen or the angels? So I just feel like we earned our wings last night. Metaphorically speaking. Yes. Metaphorically speaking, we're on a mission, but our energies together are super highly ignited to bring you value, to bring a smile to your face, to bring you some joy to your days, because it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah.
And we rather be crazy inside, providing the information for you to know that it's good to be a good kind of crazy. Just let everything else go.
And we should talk about that, being a good kind of crazy, because I want to be crazy in my faith. I want to be crazy in my belief in myself. I
Yes.
want to be crazy in my own self love. I want to be crazy about the way that I love other people too, in a good way. Because I've had the. Oh, that is definitely a whole episode. Like, because, there is definitely a line that you don't want to cross.
A line in the sand.
However, what I mean is living with intention, living with this idea that anything is possible. Just because we haven't seen it before, just because we don't hear it, it doesn't mean that it's not alive and around us.
Yes.
And I can't wait for us to do a whole episode around spirituality. We have an amazing person we're going to bring on, Roberta DeCastro, who is a licensed clinical therapist, healer, amazing person to talk through what it means to tap into your own spirituality and just be connected to these different moments that are happening. But being aware is definitely the first step.
Awareness is the first step. Awareness
Key.
is it's
Always key.
so key. I yes. I
Yeah.
back you up a million trillion percent on that. Awareness is key when you're aware of your surroundings. And I'm talking about aware of your surroundings. And less, yeah. But just being aware of yourself, your posture, who you're with,
Yes.
how you're speaking. Be aware of who's around you. What are you putting into your body? What are you putting into your soul? What are you putting into your mind? And you start seeing the signs. I mean, they always say, like, if you find a penny, it's a penny from heaven. And some people might, oh, I don't want to pick up a penny. I picked up so many pennies throughout my lifetime that I've taken those pennies and literally save them and put them into the bank. Because why? They're coming from somewhere. That just means that there's an abundance of something coming your way. Abundance of love, abundance of relationship, work, whatever it might be. But to be aware of your signs that are coming to you, that just takes you to the next level of your spirituality and who you are as a person.
Definitely. And signs and synchronicities are not coincidences at all.
The bigger or the better plan.
Exactly. So let's get into the question.
Yes.
So the question that we surveyed our friends and family to answer is, what is your biggest life lesson? And we asked them to make sure that they answer this in 5 words or less, which makes it even more complicated to share some of the biggest learnings you've ever had. So we have them in the bowl, the pasta bowl.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and pull one.
All right. I'll go ahead and do the honors on this one just for the first time. 'Cause I love
Let's see what people said.
Yes. Okay. The first one. It's not always your fault.
Oh,
Yeah.
very sentimental.
It's very sentimental. So it's not always your fault. There are times in life where we come into a situation, I'll call it, where you feel the guilt that you did something wrong, that you weren't pleasing the other person. It's not always your fault when you make a mistake, because mistakes are made to be meant. It's not always your fault when you say maybe to yourself the wrong words, because maybe that's how you were programmed as a child and what your beliefs might be. You may be at a point where you haven't necessarily thought so much about your mental health and like where you're at, and you have reached out for other resources to help you get to where you are. It's not always your fault. You know, there's 2 sides to a story. And Alex, I've learned this throughout my life, and I've taught this to my children, that you have to get the information from the source. So when someone tells you a story or a situation, they're telling you their viewpoint. There's always the other viewpoint. And sometimes you need to look at the resources and count where they're coming from and have a biased opinion either way of what really is the truth. And I'll tell you one thing, people know the truth within their heart. You can never lie to yourself. But it will be your fault if you're lying to yourself, but it's not always your fault. What do you think about that?
I think we are constantly blaming ourselves for things that we shouldn't be. I think that it's even harder when you're in a partnership and you're trying to compromise and you're trying to sacrifice in partnership with someone else. And it's really easy for us to feel like we're not doing the things that we want to do. So therefore, it's easier to put blame on other people when that's never the answer, really. There's a phrase they say, right? If you love someone, let them go in certain ways. And like, you have to let people be, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship. You have to allow the other person to evolve. And oftentimes we discredit what the evolution process looks like for people evolving. And we think that because someone is growing, because someone is moving on, that they are at fault for maybe why the marriage doesn't feel so good. They're at fault for maybe not being around for some of the things that are going on with the kids, but they're out trying to live some of their dreams at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
I think that we have to practice self-love, which is one of the hardest things in life that we can learn to acquire in our span of being on this physical earth. And I believe that we have to understand that nothing is actually at fault and everything is relative and it's part of the process. And if you didn't, have this change, or you didn't have the adversity, or you didn't have the people who challenge you, I mean, almost thank God for that in a situation, because that means that you're growing.
Absolutely. When people are challenging you, it gives you, again, the opportunity, as I was talking about earlier before about opening doors, the opportunity for growth for yourself. So when you're being challenged, you almost have to question yourself. What does this mean, and which way should I go? It's a definite blessing to know that in relationships, that you've got two counterparts. You've got yourself, you have the other person, whether it's a work relationship, a love relationship, family relationship, mother and daughter, father and son, family, whatever you want to call it. There is such a fine line there about taking accountability for what you put into it and not blaming others. It's so easy to say, for example, let's say we had a bad day and maybe you said something to me and it was snappy. And I say, oh gosh, Alex is just bad mood and it just messed up my day. No, you were experiencing your emotion by the way you're experiencing it in your life. However I reacted or received it, that's on me. So people have to understand that the reactions that they have with other people are based on their feelings. And like you said, it's just all relative. I wouldn't blame you for that. It's okay, just having a moment. Deflecting it off me because I'm, having my best day ever, but I'm there for you and I can, think about you and be there to help you. People have to understand, take accountability and responsibility and not take what other people say to them so seriously, because we're all just trying to get through this journey together, right? Evolving, growing, experiencing, and handling our own stuff. I think that even comes back to like where therapy is so needed for people with their mental health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope that people are able to rise above that statement, because I've been at blame many times. Have you ever been in a relationship before where, you were blamed for everything that was going on or in the situation when it was absolutely not the case?
It wasn't the case. I was called crazy so many times, and that a lot of people who know me and who are in my life who've been there with me through a lot of things know I've been called crazy. But the crazy part about me is I see right through people, and that I'm so intuitive and I'm able to identify.
Oh my God.
Okay.
But that really is what it is.
Yeah.
And I just think that this is an important one to not get bogged down about, because when you are living your truth and you are doing the things that make you happy, you are going to be blamed. You're going to be put at fault for other people's emotions. But at the end of the day, the only person that you owe happiness to in your life is yourself.
Yes.
And you have to be with people and surround yourself with people who are only going to support that. And anyone else, burial.
Get it out.
Okay, let's make
Passing the possible to you, my
that's
dear.
All right.
Oh, what questions
I
coming
was
up?
cheating a little bit. I was looking
No,
at
no,
one of
no,
them.
no.
Okay, I'm not gonna
We
cheat.
have asked family
Okay,
and
so
friends.
biggest life lesson, and one of the answers is invest in your mental health. Absolutely. One of the most important things that you can do is invest in your mental health. But this feels like a novelty these days because this is a buzzword.
Yeah, just going to say that. Super buzzword. Mental health, mental health, mental
Yeah,
health.
you hear it so much now. But really people for the first time, and I think COVID was a really pivotal moment, and everyone being quote unquote forced to be inside and whatever was going on, or however your views are on this, I think we all had a moment during that period where we asked ourselves how we were feeling, not doing with the things that we were used to doing. Going into the office, being social, being able to go where we want, do what we want, whenever we want, having this freedom and also situations kind of stripped from us availability, access to things that we normally used to do that would make us happy, right? Even people who found gym or yoga or anything as an outlet,
Yeah.
like it was closed down for a while, right? So we were forced in this situation where we had to have that conversation with ourselves in the mirror about who we are and what we're about and what we're doing. And a lot of us had partners during that time too. We got to take a survey of who's actually still together. No disrespect, but like if you made it through that, like hell yeah. Because I think everything came to the forefront. Eventually, you have to talk to people. Eventually, you have to talk about your beliefs, who you want to be, what you want to do, where you want to go, because this was a crisis in a sense where it put everybody's health at the
Mental health.
forefront. And we're so used to having health down on the priority list. Everything else comes before that, right? But
Work, money. Work and money in general.
Everything.
Everything comes first before your health.
Exactly.
So when COVID happened, our health and our immune systems were so compromised that people just became aware. I've got to eat better. I've got to exercise. I've got to take supplements. What am I going to do? I got to stay
or
away
they
from
realize
people.
for the first time that, oh my gosh, I'm not happy with this job. I'm not happy with this person. I'm not
Exactly.
happy in this place.
There was an awakening, a big awakening in
Renaissance
2020.
time.
Huge renaissance time. And I love what you said, Alex, about having just like that like that pivotal moment of like people were working at home. They weren't with their coworkers anymore. So now you're not with the negative Nancy's and the Debbie Downers and the people that are bringing you down at work. Now you're in your own workspace working with other people, but analyzing exactly where you are,
Your choices,
your choices that
the
you're
decisions
making.
that you've made.
I remember going to the grocery store, and I was going to a local grocery store, and I was the rebel and didn't really want to wear my mask. I thought everyone else has a mask on. Why do I have a mask? I didn't need to wear a mask until masks became really mandated and I had to wear them. Then I followed the rules. But until then, I was like, I felt like my freedom was being taken away from me, but I was already elevated at the point where I knew now we're in lockdown. I'm going to work out harder. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to continue to work my businesses. I'm going to read more. I'm going to work more on myself. And I took that warriorship on for myself that I'm only going to become better in this situation. And there are people that were put in that time that didn't already have that mindset that might have fell back a little bit. But I believe that everything that was available for everyone on social media and positive mental health and checking in on your neighbor and calling a friend, zooming in on somebody, even though we were detached as people physically and in a room, people were still able to have that communication. Thank goodness for technology. So I think that it was almost an evolving time for a lot of people. And now look at us. We're all remote. We're all doing our thing. And business is business. Life is still going on. All the online shopping, all it was already there. It just escalated. People could have more. But what we did lose was the human touch. But I do firmly believe that it was an isolation that we were all put into to make us a lot stronger.
Absolutely. Solitude does not equal loneliness. Solitude is a very necessary part of figuring out who we are and what our state of our own mental health is. It is a time for us to surface and remember things that might be painful, but things that are necessary for us to address as adults so we can let them go so they don't come back in our relationships or in our work or in other hardships and is triggered at different moments in time. You have to resolve your shit. It's really important. How are you supposed to be able to handle life as it is, knowing that it's not going to get any easier? And I say that with a smile on my face because that is something that I welcome. I'm ready for that challenge, but we have to be backpack ready for this.
Yes.
And investing in your mental health is an area where you can become backpack ready to handle life as it continues to unfold.
Oh, I love how you just phrased that, because being backpack ready is having all the tools necessary that you need that are on your back. So as we talked earlier about our angel wings, but when someone has your back, they have you fully. When you have your own back and you have all the tools that you need that you can pull out to work for yourself.
Not a better feeling than having that for yourself.
It's so empowering. It's so
independently.
Healing. Independently. Which is going to bring us to another question. Let's see.
Okay, so the question was actually, what is your biggest lesson? So whatever the answer
biggest
is
life
in your
lesson.
hands.
Put your phone away. Okay.
All right.
We take a little pause there for like 5 seconds. Put your phone away. I want to give a huge shout out to a few people, including Alex herself and my oldest daughter, Fallon, who are very good about putting their phones away when they are present with another person. And also a dear friend of mine, Mike. There are people in my life that literally will not even look at their phone once when they're in the presence of myself or others. It's like having that moment that you're engaging with the other human being. We are so locked in technology. And as I didn't have a phone, as we all know, for a little while, and I'm walking around with my MacBook, I noticed everyone has their phone. And now that I even re-engage back with my phone again, I have it, but I'm not attached to it. I need a little bit of a detoxification. Putting your phone away is literally giving consideration to the person and the company that you're with, whether it's work or personal. We don't need this as much as we think. It's literally a massive computer, a massive reach out to everybody globally. But putting your phone away shows respect for the person that you're with, and you're engaging the present moment. And you know what, Alex? One thing is that time is indispensable. You cannot buy back time. So the time that we're spending together is so valuable and so much more important than anybody who's calling, unless if it's an emergency.
And there's nothing more cringeworthy than getting that notification from Apple that your screen time scrolling is like 3+ hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was I doing? It's truly.
Yeah, you were getting sucked in the like in that like scroll hole of like digging, and we
Why
all
is
do it.
that?
But why are we so stuck on this? Like, what does this have over our brains? Like, why? Do you
I
think
think
it's
it has a lot over business. I wouldn't say that it has a lot over my relationships and the people that I choose to hang out with outside of the media world. And I think that that's important. And I've time and time again see people more invested in how they're being perceived and less invested in their partnership or the work that's in front of them. And this is just a wrench in the priority rewiring game.
Yeah.
And you have to establish a better relationship with technology because I feel like my dad probably was the one who ended up writing this because my dad, Wilbur, is so old school. He is a Southern man, third generation Wilbur from Georgia, Alabama, Florida is my family. And God bless him, but he has never sent an email in his life. He's not on social media. And while a lot of people look at that and go, wow, what a miss on a business opportunity or whatever, if you're not technology savvy, yeah, you can look at it that way. Or the person that I know lives in total peace. He's built a huge empire of success for himself on his word and on his work ethic.
and a handshake.
And his integrity and his business ethics. So while we can't discard the old, we welcome in the new. And it always comes back to finding the balance.
Well said. Finding the balance
Always
between
finding the balance.
technology and being in the present moment. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Passing the pasta bowl to you, and the question
what's left in
is
the possible. Biggest life lesson. Here we go. What's this say?
biggest life lesson.
Don't spin your wheels.
Oh, Alex.
Okay, this
All
can
right.
be
Ride
interpreted
with
in
that.
a lot of different ways. Don't spin your wheels. Biggest life lesson. Don't spin your wheels. The way that I'm going to interpret this answer for whoever wrote this in, which is obviously one of our friends or family, we love you.
Yes.
Do what you say you are going to do and show up when you need to. Spinning your wheels to me means that you are doing the same thing over and over and over again, knowing that it doesn't serve you whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And if you're one of those people that feel like you're in that situation in any category of your life, this is a friendly reminder and a message for you to stop, get out of the car, and walk around a new block, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're doing the same thing over and over and it's not working. There's a point in time where we remember and we recognize that it's not working. And those are the signs and synchronicities that point to us saying, okay, now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about this one? Don't
No,
spin
I
your wheels.
agree. I believe Albert Einstein had the quote, if you repeat the same thing over and over and over again, it's the sign of insanity. And insanity meaning not that you're crazy, it's just that you haven't learned the lesson. You're going, you're
Wow.
going, you're going. You're at the same job year after year after year. It's not serving you. You don't have your passion. You're not happy, but
But
you
it's
keep
all you
doing it.
know.
It's all you know. But you're blaming the job. You're blaming the position. You're blaming your boss. No, episode that one of our first 3 episodes, look in the mirror. You take accountability, take the responsibility. Once you hone in your own responsibility and your accountability, things change. Spinning your wheels over and over again, maybe your lesson hasn't been learned, but you have to see the signs, take note of them, and keep moving forward. But if you continuously do it, we're talking.
Spinning your wheels is a sign of not having the strength to make a different decision.
For yourself.
Because at that point, you know that it's not good. You know that this isn't what you want. Your feelings and your gut, your intuition, everything is telling you that this is not what you want to do, but you're choosing to invest in it, even though it's not working out over and over again.
Investing in yourself. I will be the first one to admit I have been a people pleaser my entire life. And if I can make
I
you
suffer from that too.
Yes, if I can make you happy, I will sacrifice anything. And a lot of my friends out there know, not going to name any names right now, but y'all know if there's a picture of you and I together, which one will I have you post? The one that makes you look better and the one that where I'm like, like all crazy in the picture.
I love you for that.
Because I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, hey, you look great. Post it. If anything, it's just like an active picture of me just having fun in life and like being carefree. I have so many times allowed myself at the sacrifice of my own want or my will for somebody else. I've been known to literally give clothes off my back, baseball caps to people. I've done so many things to please another person. I get so much joy from that, right? But what I've learned is that spinning my wheels in the same situation, I'm the type of gypsy that's got to go. I can only take it for so long in one space. I have to move on. If there's a certain amount of time and I haven't been on a plane, I feel the urge to travel. I've learned my lesson through the years, but I will give the best advice to all of you. If you're spinning your wheels and you're stuck in the mud and you're going, those back wheels are just rolling, put it in neutral. Take a look in the mirror. Make that decision. I'm going to think about a little something that Alex and Karen said, and I'm going to make the change, but make the change for me. And people are watching you. You know what? We're all leaders in this world. People are watching every single one of us, including all of you, to see what you're going to do. We're here to teach and lead and honor the fact that we're all here to serve one another. It just boils down to that. So if your wheels are spinning, put it in neutral, park the car, get out, like Alex said, walk a few blocks and move on.
Yeah, find a new one. Yeah, here you go.
Okay, let's see what's in here. We got a couple more questions from our families and friends.
Okay, so biggest life lesson. What was one of the answers, Karen?
Live with intention.
Perfect segue.
Live with intention. I remember one of our friends that actually said this to us the other day. So living with intention is living with your full heart, that no matter what, if you're living with good intention, you're all into it, how can it go wrong? Because you're being honest, you're being truthful, you're being faithful to yourself. Living with good intention means, hey, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it from my heart, and I'm going to do it with all my wherewithal, and I'm going to make a difference for me and to be that extension to help other people understand that it's about now, it's in the present moment. Goes back to putting your phone away. Put your phone away. Live right now for this with a good intention. And
intention is everything.
It is. If you're leading with a false intention, now you're being fake. Now you're lying. Now you're cheating. You're not living your true self. You're putting up a big fake front. You're putting on that mask or that huge filter to pretend to be somebody you're not. When you're living with true intention, you're living in the true self with the awareness in the present moment.
And even from a business perspective, actions without intentions do not equal outcomes. Not ever. It means half-ass outcomes. It means the outcomes that are not going to forward you into the next level or into the next IQ or learning area
Oh,
of your spirit or your development personally or professionally. And intention is everything in what you're doing. If you don't have an intention behind your getting up every single day to go and work out, then the opposite of that, yin and yang, is maybe you're vain and too focused on the wrong things. Or if you don't have any intention, being in a relationship, so you just do whatever you want, guess what? You're probably not the best partner in the world. And I'm not saying that the idea is to be the best and the best and the best in every single area, but there is a sense of good intention.
absolutely, Alex. And talking about work, I have to interject here for a second that when you, as a business owner, as I'm a business owner, you're a business owner, as business owners, when you lead with intention, you are truly leading to help other people. The money will always come. The vanity, the ego-ness of, oh, I own my own company. It's a lot to own your own company. And I speak of many people that do. If you're behind the scenes and seeing what they're doing, it's a 24/7 job. It looks glamorous when you post it online and everything looks wonderful. But when you're leading with good intention, you're leading with the leadership, the mentorship, the passion, the goodness, and just wanting to see others succeed. That's leading with good intention, watching, empowering others, and helping them to get to the next level. That's good intention.
And when you lead with good intention, success is inevitable. People are going to understand your intentions. People are smart enough to understand how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And if you make people feel good and you are passionate about what you're doing and you have a mission behind what it is that you're trying to accomplish, people are always going to feel that. But if you do not, and your motives are rooted in any other way, it is not going to land well. Therefore, it will not land well with your business. It will not land well with what you believe that you're trying to preach, or maybe even force on some people. Hopefully, you're not one of those people. We'll talk about that too.
Another episode.
Another episode. But that is a very important part of understanding what your intentions are. So before you go out and set out your day, I think something that would be very practical to start with on a daily basis is every single morning I wake up and I write down three things that I'm grateful for. It's a very simple practice. It sounds, okay, what is that going to do for me? Truly, remembering why you're doing something is the first part before you're taking any action. Remember, actions without intentions don't equal outcomes. So taking a moment to just be grateful and understand the why behind what it is that you're doing is going to drastically change what it is that you're trying to accomplish for yourself. But don't expect the latter if you're not doing that.
I love what you said because the why will drive you out of the spinning wheels and put you right into drive, right into ignition, and get you set on the platform for the right day. Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh.
Karen.
Okay, passing the possible
Okay,
to
possible. We're getting down to the wire here.
Down to
Let's
the
see what we've
wire
got.
here.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. So the question was biggest life lesson, and whoever wrote this is hilarious.
This
by
is
the
a
way,
good one.
Watch out for vampires. Oh, there are. Okay, I understand that this is a slight metaphor. That there are absolutely bloodsuckers out there. So there are people out there who suck the hell out of your energy.
Basically, put an IV in my arm and take my blood out or take my time.
This one is tough. I have met my fair share of vampires. It's pretty simple. You get to a point where you recognize that people give you life or they suck it out of you. And there's really no in between. And all I can say is the sooner the better that you recognize the people who give you life versus the ones who suck it out of you. That's really all I have to say about that one.
No, I agree with you 1,000%.
Pasta.
Vampires, be gone. Invest in a lot of garlic.
You're not FDIers.
They're not FDRs. What are one of the biggest lessons you learned in life? Don't wait. Wait for nothing, people. Again, I reiterate, and from a lot of experience, you are not promised your next 5 minutes, your next day. I was actually at my my home the other day, a couple days ago, sitting by the pool doing some work, and I heard some young men talking. They said, well, my plan for the next 10 years is, and I was like, oh, honey, I don't know if you're going to be here in 10 years. Like, what are you doing now? And I wanted to interject so intensely on this conversation.
Very real, Karen.
I just listened. It's very real. People think you have time. You have time for this. You have time for that. You have no time.
Oh.
Take out that phone. Take as many pictures as you can of you and your loved ones. Videotape as much as you can. Engage in conversation. Putting the phone down and enjoying the present moment. And why wait for your dreams and your passions? If you're not happy where you're at in a lovely relationship, start to really evaluate. Make a list. Take an old-fashioned piece of paper. Put it in half. The pros, the cons, go down. Do your own evaluation. Seek real therapy. Think about your job. If you're not getting what you need out of it, then maybe take on learn something new. Evaluate it. I advise nobody to quit your job before you have something else to fall back in.
Always.
Disclaimer.
Unless you're in a very,
lucrative situation where you have
exactly
the means to do that. And that's a conversation for another day. Do not leave your job until you have something else set up. But do put your antennas out there and start fishing around. You have more talent than you think. You've got more passion in you that is just waiting to be ignited, just waiting to light that fire and just move forward. Don't wait on anything, because I'll tell you something. If you have any relationships that you have not come to terms with on forgiveness, which I'm going to pass that one to you, you need to forgive people, because why? Everyone deserves grace. And again, going to back one of our mantras, we are here to serve. Somebody that you might just pick up the phone and speak to, you could be helping at that moment.
I just second everything that you said, and waiting and trying to plan out too far in advance is always going to be a disadvantage, because life happens and we have to live for today with the balance of knowing where we're heading directionally. But we don't need to get too caught up in the 401k and when I retire, I'm going to travel and do this and do that. Or, when I'm in a good place, I'm going to be with that person. That's insecurity at the end of the day, which is why invest in your mental health, coming back full circle.
Yes.
And, time is of the essence.
And just fucking do it.
And
Stop
just fucking
waiting.
do it. Oh my God, don't wait.
Stop
do
waiting.
the things that you want to do. Coming back to the whole theme.
There's so many examples. I do want to share this one point right now. It was back in 2019. My son and I wanted to go on a little vacation. That year I took a special vacation with each one of my children. And we went to the Grand Canyon. And we were going to skydive from the Grand Canyon, but he wasn't 18 yet. So I tried my hardest. I'm like, I'll give you $500. I'll give you $1,000 cash. Just slide it through. I was just,
She wants to fly.
I just do the mafia mom thing, like, hey, here's some cash, take it. However, I have videos, and we did a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon. That was the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life, because I did not wait, or I did not hesitate. I'll never forget, my son Michael said, can you afford this? I said, absolutely. At the time I discharged it, I was like, fuck it. It's life. Let's do it. I have no regrets. So anybody who's waiting for the right time, right now is the right time. If you innately feel it within your gut, just go for it and do it. So
Yeah, it's never the right time.
it's never the right time.
So you just got to fucking do it.
Right. That's why we're doing this.
Fucking do it.
That's why we're showing this to y'all, because this is the right time. The time is now. The time is you. We're here to put you in the best frame of mind, that if you look at both of our stories and everything that we've been through, we have a lot to share, a lot to offer with you. But this is a platform for you to just fucking do it.
Just
Enjoy your
fucking do
life.
it. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Next time, drop in the comments anything you want to hear or anything you want to talk about. We're here for you. We love you. Peace.